Orange on one side, blue and yellow bite on the other. This is Group F with teeth, and once that whistle goes, someone's dream is getting shoved off the tracks. IMO, this Dutch 11 is stacked, stars everywhere. Give us a quick market view. Who's the blue chip, who's the volatile pick, and what's the risk if Sweden land an early punch?
Netherlands is the blue chip here, priced like the favorite with steady sponsorship grade confidence, while Sweden's the high beta flyer that can rip on one clean break. If Sweden land an early punch, you'll see a fast, de-risking stampede, and that Dutch price gets repriced.
That midfield is a gearbox, and if the young lad clicks into rhythm, the whole Dutch machine starts purring. Gravenberch has had his bumps, sure, but nights like this are where you turn pressure into power. One big touch, one brave pass, and he's flying.
Netherlands bid depth just beefed up, so buyers are stepping in to defend 0.7 like it's the top of the box. Confidence is still there, but that Sorge 59 offer remains a brick wall, so upside needs a real catalyst, not just hopeful punting.
IMO, quick one. Selection headaches like this are like portfolio choices. Do you stick with the goal scorer or rotate for matchups? Give us your take on the bench value and risk management angle.
Exactly. Your starter is the core holding, but the bench is your optionality when the game state flips. Rotating smart is like trimming winners into strength and keeping dry powder because one tactical switch can gap the whole price in seconds.
Yeah, that depth is a cheat code. Fresh legs, fresh ideas, and suddenly the tempo spikes like a market rally. If it's tight at the break, the Dutch can change the whole story with one substitution and Sweden will feel the squeeze. Two strikers up top, that's old school thunder, like bringing a battering ram to a chess match. Sweden can absolutely make this ugly and dangerous, and if the Dutch get sloppy in possession, those forwards will sniff blood in a heartbeat.
Now that's a real shift. Netherlands' ass depth just got cut hard and the top offer slid down to 2.58, so sellers are backing off and the tape can breathe. If buyers keep leaning on 3.57, this starts to look like a breakout attempt rather than a stalled attack.
Here we go, anthems rolling, goosebumps time, the calm before the storm. You can feel the nerves and the pride mixing in the air, and in a few minutes it's all tackles, tempo, and dreams on the line.
Oof, Netherlands just slipped a tick, and more importantly, bid depth got yanked hard. That's buyers stepping away, not just noise. Meanwhile, a huge sell wall reappears at 0.58, so sentiment's turning cautious and the draw starts to feel like the counterattack.
That anthem hits different, doesn't it? Suddenly it's not tactics, it's identity. You can see the players mouthing every word, eyes fixed ahead, and you just know the first whistle is going to unleash all that emotion.
That dip got bought fast. Netherlands bid depth just exploded, and there's a monster stack sitting at 0.57, like the crowd roaring the team back upfield. But the 0.58 offer is still a big defender, so you need follow through, or it's another quick rebound install.
IMO, that Dutch anthem's got the whole place vibrating. Give me a quick market-style take. Who's the blue chip leader out there, Van Dijk or someone else? And who's the risky, high-volatility pick?
Yeah, that energy reads like risk on. Van Dijk's the blue chip anchor, steady cash flow vibes when the game gets chaotic. The high-volatility pick is the pacey winger or attacking mid, can score in a flash but disappears for stretches and whipsaws sentiment. Netherlands is still pinned 8.57, 0.58, but that 0.58 sell wall just got thicker, nearly 3 million shares, so it's like Sweden parking the bus. Buyers are showing up underneath, yet without a clean break, you're looking at churn and frustration rather than a sprint higher. Now that's a momentum wobble. Netherlands bid depth just collapsed and the top support slid down to 0.56, while the 0.58 sell wall is still towering. At the same time, draw in Sweden bids thickened. Classic rotation into the underdogs when the favorite can't break.
3 times they've been that close, and you can feel the hunger in every orange scarf waving. This lot don't travel for sightseeing. That history sits on their shoulders, but it also lights a fuse under them the moment the ball moves. That's a spicy matchup. Netherlands playing like a team with a bill to pay, Sweden strolling in with points already in the pocket. Early minutes will be a tug of war, orange urgency versus Swedish calm, and one mistake could flip the whole move. IMO, Netherlands desperate for first win while Sweden already banked 3 points, feels like a must-win pressure trade versus a team sitting on profit. Give us the market analogy. Who's the safer asset early on?
Totally. Sweden's the in-the-money position playing defense, so it's the safer early hold because they can afford to run the clock. Netherlands is the high beta favorite, upsides there, but desperation can force bad shots and sharp pullbacks.
IMO, they're pitching community power and local business opportunities. Sounds like sponsorship, merch revenue talk. Give us the market angle, how these partnerships and new merch move the needle for clubs and local economies. And there's the commercial break energy. Big slogans, shiny merch, everyone thriving like it's a counterattack in slow motion. Amo, that's your territory. What's the stock market verdict on all this feel-good branding? Imo, this ad break is pure Patriot branding. Jeep, Captain America, Captains of America. What's the market angle on these big legacy campaigns, and do they actually move the needle? We're getting hit with back-to-back patriotic ad spots. Bank of America, Jeep, Captain America vibes. Give us the market angle. Does this kind of branding actually move the needle for these companies?
Yep, it moves the needle. Just not overnight. It's about protecting trust and keeping customers from switching when the economy gets choppy. Think of it like playing a disciplined backline.
Orange and yellow swirling like a living mural. This crowd's already in full voice. Interesting call dropping Somerville after he scored. Brobby's got that battering ram energy, and Van Hecke coming in means the Dutch are bracing for a proper Swedish storm. Imo, we've just come out of a sponsor blitz. Buffet, Jeep, Lay's. Give us the market angle. Who's winning the brand battle, and why does it matter for 2026 eyeballs?
Totally. Boffa wins on trust and distribution, Jeep wins on identity, and Lay's wins on pure repetition. Different games, same goal, mind share. For 2026, it matters because the winner is whoever turns eyeballs into habit, not just...
Michael Oliver with the whistle. This could be slick and snappy or spicy if the tackles start flying. Van Dijk and Lindelof down there like two skyscrapers shaking hands, and this place is painted in noise. Houston's lit up like a carnival under the lights.
We're basically range-bound. Netherlands holds 0.57, 0.58, but that 1.65 M share wall 8058 is still a brick defense. Draw in Sweden books are lighter on the offer now, so any wobble in Netherlands sentiment could spill over fast.
Van Hecke looked like he'd been doing this for a decade. Calm, clean, commanding. De Jong's metronome ticking, Gravenberch supplying the sparks, but Gakpo's the matchstick they need to actually light the fire. Otherwise, it's all smoke and no flame. You can feel the Dutch front line reshuffling, trying to find that killer rhythm. Marlon on the right could bring a bit of chaos. And Van de Ven walking a tightrope on that booking, one mistimed lunge, and he's watching the next one in a tracksuit. Sweden sticking with the same 11. Potter's saying, if it ain't broke, don't touch it. And after 5 goals, who's arguing? Isak looked reborn. Gyökeres is swaggering like a champion, and Lindelof anchoring it all. This has got heavyweight clash written all over it. Sweden keeping it unchanged again. Potter's basically riding the hot hand, and after that 5-goal party, fair enough. Isak's confidence is back. Gyökeres is playing like a man with medals in his pocket, and Lindelof at the back gives them that steal. Koeman and Potter on the touchline, two very different vibes, but both smelling opportunity tonight. Keep your eyes on Ari. He's got that I'll nick one instinct, and Houston's seen big names wobble before. If Ronaldo suffered here, nobody's safe. Look at that swirl of orange and yellow. This place is practically a paint box with studs on. You can feel the crowd waiting for one spark, one moment of magic to set Houston on fire. Who's brave enough to grab it? Imo, Sweden win here and the Dutch are under real pressure. Feels like a market swing on one result. Give us your take. Who's got the volatility tonight and who's the safe asset? Absolutely. This tournament's been serving drama on a silver platter, and this stadium just amplifies every heartbeat. Sweden smashing 5 has put a target on their backs now, though. Today's the real test because the Dutch won't let you breathe for a second. That Dutch-Japan game was chaos in the best way. Every time you thought it was settled, it twisted again, and Sweden's big win has turned this group into a pressure cooker. If they land another punch today, suddenly the Netherlands are staring at a must-win finale. Love that VAR stoppage analogy. Tell viewers when liquidity vanishes, the next kick can gap the price like a counterattack after a long pause. Psychology flips fast when the book reopens.
Absolutely. When the book goes thin, it's like both teams freezing on a VAR check, then one quick pass turns into a breakaway. The next real trade becomes the new reference point, and sentiment can flip in seconds.
Love that VR stoppage analogy. Books thin like a nervous backline. If liquidity's pulled, next trade could gap like a counterattack after a sloppy pass, worth a quick on-air flag for psychology and momentum. That liquidity freeze you spotted is exactly like this opening spell. Everyone hesitates, then one long ball or one trade and it gaps. Flag it. Next swing could be violent, just like Sweden going direct under the Dutch press.
Liquidity just got yanked again. Bid depth across all 3 outcomes is shrinking fast while the odds barely move, which screams air pocket risk. with those 0.01 bids and 0.99 asks still sitting.
You can sense the urgency in that orange wave. This isn't a friendly, it's a must-win with the volume turned up. Sweden will try to turn it into a scrap, but the Dutch are already asking questions in the final third. Oh, that was the moment. One clean touch and the stadium's holding its breath for a finish. He's got to live in that pocket, gamble on that run again and again, because those are the openings that decide tight games like this. Yeah, and that yellow turns every tackle into a tightrope walk. One mistimed lunge, and it's curtains. Van de Ven's got the pace to recover, but he'll have to defend with his head as much as his legs today. 13 Premier League starters out there, big brand value on the pitch. Give us a quick angle on how that kind of league concentration affects player valuations and club leverage during tournaments.
Draw depth just surged on the bid side, but notice the top bid slid down to 12 cents. More like scattered support than a solid wall. Netherlands still glued at 56-57, so it's a stalemate on the scoreboard, but the order book's shifting.
Absolutely, it's like a Premier League reunion out there. Handshakes before kickoff, elbows after it. That familiarity cuts both ways. They know each other's tricks, but it also means nobody's getting surprised by the intensity. Sweden's 3 at the back gives them that extra body to mop up, but the Dutch 4 can spring forward quicker if the timing's right, and there, the flag's up early to calm things down. Michael Oliver's the man with the whistle, and you just know he'll want to set his tone fast. You can feel it. First World Cup outing, and he'll be desperate to stamp authority without turning it into a card fest. Calm head, steady whistle, and that player management has to be spot on when the tackles start flying and the crowd starts roaring. Exactly, when a ref's already got that relationship banked, he can diffuse flashpoints before they even spark. But the flip side is the players will test the boundaries early, see what he's letting go, and that's where the temperature can rise fast. Ha! Even the ref's getting rotated. IMO would call that load management for the official's portfolio. And there's that Dutch runner again, bursting into space like he's got a release clause in his boots. Sweden have to track him or it'll get messy fast.
Draw bid depth just got chopped in half while price holds 23-24. Classic looks stable until it isn't set up. Netherlands liquidity actually improved on the bid, so the crowd's still leaning favorite, but this book is thin enough for a single headline to be a breakaway goal.
Listen to that wall of orange noise. This place is basically an Amsterdam street party with a football pitch in the middle. Koeman's loving it too, arms folded like a bouncer, but he'll want his midfield to keep those early runs sharp before Sweden settle in. It's a sea of orange, isn't it? Like the stadium's been dipped in paint. Those little yellow...
Absolutely. This is a classic gap and go. Netherlands ripped up to the mid-70s, and the draw Sweden books are basically empty on the bid. Feels like stoppage time trading. If VAR flips it, there's no liquidity cushion, just a straight drop.
The Dutch are hunting that first World Cup win like it's overdue rent. Get it tonight, and the whole group picture changes in a heartbeat. And with this crowd behind them, every forward run feels like a wave pushing them toward goal. That's proper Dutch grit. Van Hecke rocking a black eye like it's a...
Yep, that opener is an earnings beat. Netherlands gaps higher and the draw Sweden bids get vacuumed, so spreads widen fast. But with bid depth thin, a Sweden reply is the equalizer that can rip this back in one candle.
Van Dijk back there is like a lighthouse in a storm. Everything calms down when the ball goes near him. If he's in that first game form again, Sweden's forwards are going to feel like they're running into a brick wall. Goal for the Dutch. Momentum just turned into a breakout candle. Odds will gap again. That's the kind of goal that makes a coach look like a genius. Koeman's loving every second of it. Gakpo serves it on a silver platter and Brobby just signs the receipt. Bang, 1-0 and the Dutch are purring.
Netherlands is still pinned at 76-77, but the support underneath keeps evaporating. Bid depth is sliding, so it's a skinny lead on the scoreboard. Meanwhile, draw money is trying to sneak back in at 24 cents, like betting on a late set piece, but the live...
Goal! Netherlands strike first. Odds will lurch again like a breakout stock on earnings. Give us the instant market reaction and how violent the swing could be if Sweden respond. Goal for the Netherlands. Odds momentum you mentioned just got a real catalyst. This is the kind of clean flowing move that makes markets overreact. Watch for a sharp swing if Sweden show any response. Goal Netherlands. Houston erupts, and that move was pure orange poetry. Brobby keeps his cool, but the real damage is that slick one-touch buildup and Reinders bursting through like a freight train.
Now you're seeing the post-goal liquidity flood. Netherlands barely budges at 75.76, but bid depth jumps hard, meaning dip buyers are finally showing up. Draw and Sweden still have massive overhead supply, so any comeback trade is fighting a packed defense.
Yeah, that's the difference. One touch to set it, and suddenly it's a sprint, not a stroll. The spacing is gorgeous. Midfielders arriving like late trains you can't stop, and the defenders are already backpedaling with that uh-oh look. Oof! Sweden finally bite back. Gyökeres hits it with venom, and Verbruggen stands tall. Big hands, big moment. Van Hecke scrambling across like a man chasing a taxi, and suddenly you feel the game's got teeth now. Gyökeres is a menace. Those runs in behind are like a knife between the ribs, and Verbruggen's had to be razor sharp already. If he's bagged 21 for Arsenal, you know he only needs half a yard to turn this into a fire.
Netherlands is holding at 74.75, but look at that ask wall stacked right on 0.76. Sellers are parking the bus and capping the rally. Draw liquidity is creeping back up on the bid, so the market's quietly pricing in one weird moment risk.
Oh, that's a corner routine straight out of a blooper reel. Short, slow, and then bang, the flag goes up on Isak. You can't waste set pieces like that in a game this open. It's like throwing away a free stock tip, Imo. Isak-Gyökeres partnership versus a top back line. Feels like a high-risk, high-reward trade. Timing and chemistry decide everything. Got a quick market analogy for two strikers needing sync against elite defenders? Yeah, they're trying to feed Isak and Gyökeres early, but it's Iago who's meant to pull the strings, and the Dutch have basically put him in a straitjacket. If he can't get a touch, Sweden's attack starts to feel like a car stuck in second gear. Sweden's attack hinges on Iago, but the Dutch have shut him down. Feels like starving the market of liquidity. Got a quick analogy on how cutting off the creative force changes the whole game? Absolutely. With Roby up top, they've got that direct outlet, go long, win the first contact, and suddenly the whole Dutch midfield is charging through the middle. It's a proper battering ram option, and Sweden will hate defending those second balls all afternoon. You can see it, can't you? Everything's a yard cleaner, the distances are right, and Sweden are suddenly breathing easier. Brogdon hacks it clear, Lindelöf hoovers up the loose ball, and they're trying to build again with a bit of composure.
Liquidity just fell off a cliff on draw in Sweden. Bid depth is basically gone, so any real money order will move price like a deflection in the box. Netherlands stays steady at 74.75, but with that thin tape, volatility risk is higher than the calm odds.
Roby's playing it like a classic wall. Bang, first time layoff, keep the tempo sizzling, no messing about trying to spin. That's smart center forward play because it drags defenders in and opens lanes for runners to knife through behind him.
Now you're seeing bids come back in on the draw, top bid up to 1.3, so someone's finally willing to pay for the scrappy 1-1 script. Netherlands ticked up to 75.76, but the ask side is still heavy, like a favorite trying to run the clock while the crowd... Yeah, that's like a big buyer leaning on the offer, keeps the book pinned, forces weak hands to puke inventory, and eventually you get a gap move. When a striker pins center backs, every clearance turns into a turnover, and price discovery gets brutal fast.
Netherlands' tempo is surging. Robbie's hold-up play is like a blue-chip anchor, and that tumble under pressure could be a market-moving moment. Foul or dive. Give us your take on the risk-reward of this physical battle. Big no call on Robbie as he spins away. Michael Oliver waves it off. Feels like a let-it-trade ref. High volatility. Got any quick take on how refs set the market tone early?
Exactly. Refs set the volatility band in the first 10 minutes, and that no call just widened it. When officials let it trade, defenders get bolder, attackers exaggerate contact, and you get sudden gap risk like a thin book after hours. Netherlands is still the clear favorite at 76.77, but look at that ask wall. Sellers stacked like a parked bus, especially with that 0.93 level sitting heavy. Draw liquidity got weird too. Best bid holds 0.5, yet the real size is down.
Absolutely. Those little grapples are the difference between a clean break and a wasted appeal, and a top ref senses it in real time. The Netherlands have come out like a high-speed train, snapping into tackles and moving it with purpose. Sweet. That head-to-head is basically a coin toss with history, but right now it's orange shirts dictating the rhythm. Dumfries thunders forward like a freight train. If that give-and-go clicks, Sweden are going to be chasing shadows. Oof, that was nearly the kind of little nod down that opens a defense like a tin of sardines. Gakpo sniffing around, but Nordahl says mine and swallows it up. Still, you can feel it. The Dutch are playing at a different speed right now. If Sweden keep lumping it with no runners, Van Dijk will be eating that for breakfast. No crumbs left. And Dumfries whips in a beauty there, wicked pace and shape. That's the kind of delivery that makes defenders panic and strikers lick their lips. That's heroic tracking back. Lonson reads the danger, gets goal side, and just nicks it before Gakpo can pounce. But Dumfries, wow, early ball, perfect weight. He's turning that flank into a runway.
Draw just ticked down to 14 to 15, and that bid depth is still flimsy. This is a market that can't absorb a momentum swing without slipping. Netherlands stays pinned at 76.77, but the offer stack creeping up to 0.83 tells you traders are selling strength.
Bodies everywhere in the danger zone. This is proper pinball stuff. Sweden can't get a clean breath. The corners got hang time and bite, and that header flashes through like a warning shot. You can feel the next one might be the killer.
We've got a little risk on pulse. Netherlands nudges up to 77.78 and draw bids firm back to 15 with real size 8.14. But that .80 ask wall on Netherlands is the next defender. Until it breaks, this feels like a grind, not a sprint.
Sweden are leaning into that right side now, piling bodies and belief down the flank like a wave building. If the Dutch don't plug that channel quickly, one sharp cut back and it's chaos in the box. IMO, Sweden's basically a bailout story, lifeline via Nations League into playoffs. Give us your market take, underdog momentum, risk-on vibes, and how teams ride a second chance. Football's got a wicked sense of humor, hasn't it? Written off, then handed a lifeline, and suddenly Sweden are crashing the party like they own the place. They've ridden that momentum through the playoffs and into this tournament, and you can feel the belief humming in every challenge. That's the mystery of Sweden tonight. You don't quite know if it's a fairy tale or a trap waiting to spring. Potter's got them organized and fearless, but the Dutch are starting to clear their lines with authority. This is tightening up fast. Gravenberch just glides, doesn't he? Like he's on skates through midfield, all power and silk. But that final ball has to sing, not stutter, because Sweden will pounce on a cheap giveaway like seagulls on chips. Sweden are snapping back into that compact block. Two up top, then a wall behind them. It's like trying to pick a lock with boxing gloves on. The Dutch have to move it quicker or find a runner between those lines because right now there's no daylight.
That draw book just fell off a cliff, bid depth down to basically nothing, and the top bid all the way at a penny. So any sell pressure and it gaps like a bad keeper spill. Netherlands is still steady at 77.78 with support, while Sweden slipped.
Dumfries is starting to sniff space down that flank, and Gravenberch keeps popping up like a bad dream for Sweden's midfield. The pass just isn't quite clicking yet, but you can feel the Dutch turning the screw. One clean connection, and it's danger.
Draw liquidity bounced back, but it's still weirdly fragile. Top bid sitting down at 0.05 tells you buyers are skittish and ready to pull the chair again. Netherlands stays pinned at 77.78, yet that big offer up at 0.9.
Oh, you're taking us back to Dortmund 74. Now that's proper football folklore. Cruyff inventing magic on the fly, Sweden trying to cage the artist, and you can feel that same chess match vibe.
Yeah, it's a blue chip tape right now. Steady bids, not just a headline pop, so the trend looks real. But when everyone's leaning the same way, one sloppy turnover is your quick 2-3% pullback before the next leg up.
Oh, that turn was pure velvet. Reinders just spun away, and suddenly the whole defense was chasing shadows. The shot takes a nick and dies on him, and it's a goal kick. Imagine scoring right after that. It would have been Cruyffian irony at its finest. Reinders again with that gorgeous swivel. He's got defenders biting like it's a fishing trip in Houston. The effort clips a body and skews wide, and it's only a goal kick. Oh, that would have been a postcard moment if it sneaks in.
Now the draw has a bit of a bid wall back, depth up to about 51k, and the top bid 80.05, so someone's finally putting a defender in front of the goal. But the ask side is still a skyscraper, so rallies get sold into fast. Netherlands stays the heavy favorite.
IMO, the Dutch are 1-0 up and purring. Defense looks like a blue chip stock, midfield full of ball-playing liquidity. How do you see that?
Yep, 2-0 is the market hitting a second breakout candle. Shorts panic cover and late buyers FOMO in at worse prices. Sweden's now trading like a distressed name. They have to press, and that usually just opens up more counterattack.
Sweden's got to make it a street fight in the final third, lean on their big names, win second balls, and keep peppering that Dutch backline until it creaks. But right now, the Netherlands look so composed, like they've got an extra man in the back four.
That's a full momentum breakout. Netherlands ripped up to 89.90, and the draw just got air-pocketed with bid depth collapsing. Sweden AT23 with basically no bids is relegation zone pricing. Nobody wants to be the hero catching that. Only
It's 2-0 Netherlands, double strike, ruthless efficiency. Give me a quick market momentum analogy for how this lead changes the game psychology.
Netherlands is now trading like a near cash instrument at 92.93. Big bid depth, tighter spreads, and sellers thinning out, so the path of least resistance is still higher. The draw and Sweden books are basically no confidence with tiny bids and
Netherlands just went 2-0 up. Goal check for offside. Huge momentum swing. Give us a quick market reaction take. Do Sweden look like a falling stock now, or is there a bounce coming?
Yeah, that offside check is like...
That's a landmark strike. Goal number 100 on the biggest stage, and it's been delivered with real swagger. The Dutch are playing like they've got an extra man, snapping into space and slicing Sweden open with pace and purpose. Netherlands just went 2-0 up, clinical, double Dutch, and there's an offside check drama. Give us your market style take, momentum swing, risk management for Sweden, and how a VAR decision can flip sentiment. Netherlands 2-0 up early, double Dutch, and Sweden look rattled. Give me a quick market analogy, momentum trades, stop losses, anything to match this avalanche.
Totally. This is a momentum trade that just triggered every stop loss on the Sweden side, so you get that avalanche effect. Netherlands becomes the crowded long like a runaway leader in a title race, and the only risk is a sudden VAR-style headline that snaps.
Going quick, wide, ruthless. Sweden are chasing shadows in midfield, and those channels are wide open. If they don't tweak the shape right now, this could turn into a long two poachers finishes, but that's the art. Arrive on time, keep it simple, cash the check. AT20, the Dutch look in cruise control, and even when the fullback isn't bombing on, they're still carving Sweden open with ease.
Netherlands just got marked up again, 93 bid, 94 ask, and the depth rebuilt, so the crowd's leaning back into the favorite. Sweden's book is pure air, tiny bids, and $1 million offer wall like a team down 2 with nobody warming up. Draw offers ballooning, says traders are selling.
Broby's come in like a man who's been waiting all tournament for this moment. First sniff and bang, he's on the score sheet. And with Marlon stretching it wide, Sweden are being pulled apart like a cheap suit.
We're basically stuck in a tight range. Netherlands still 3 to 94, so the market's saying control the clock, not run up the score. Sweden flicking to 2 cents is just noise against that giant 99-cent offer stack. Hope is cheap, exits are expensive.
They're calling it total football out there. Early crosses, midfield runners, 2-0 up and cruising. Give me a quick market style take. Is Sweden's plan basically a bad investment right now?
Yeah, Sweden's basically a busted turnaround story. No catalyst, no liquidity, and every rally gets sold into. Netherlands is the blue chip in a risk-on tape. Steady bids, tight spread, and the crowd just keeps adding on dips.
Dion strolling through midfield like he's got a VIP pass. No pressure, no panic. Gravenberch takes it. Dumfries tucks in to drag bodies away, and suddenly Marlon's got Akers out wide. Danger building here.
Now that's a real push. Netherlands ticks up to 94.95 and the bid depth swells, so buyers are pressing like it's stoppage time. The ask side actually thins out, which tells you sellers are backing off and letting it run. Sweden's still a ghost bid with a skyscraper of...
Sweden look like a busted portfolio. No creativity, just long punts and hope. Dutch midfield has Akers. It's like one team's compounding interest and the other's cash under the mattress. Got a quick market analogy for this mismatch? Van Hecke steps up and Sweden are letting him have it like it's a training drill. No wide pressure at all. When you can switch it out to the flanks that easily, you're basically inviting the Dutch to turn the screw. Kaplo takes it and you can almost see the Dutch confidence oozing with every touch. This is control with a capital C. And there's Potter on the touchline looking like a man trying to solve a Rubik's Cube in a hurricane. Oh, it's pure footballing bliss. When the ball sticks, the angles appear, and every pass feels like it's got a magnet on it. The Dutch are surfing the rhythm right now, and Sweden look like they're chasing shadows in heavy boots.
Netherlands is back at 94.95, but notice the ask depth rebuilt. Some profit taking is stepping in, like a team slowing the tempo with a 2-goal cushion. Sweden printing 1-1 is basically the market saying game over, no spread, no hope. Draw stays pinned at...
Imo Brabi's output today is like a stock that's been flat for ages, then suddenly gaps up in 17 minutes. What do you call that kind of breakout? And does it change the valuation on a player instantly?
That's a classic catalyst-driven breakout, earnings gap, short covering, the whole highlight reel. It absolutely reprices him fast, but the market won't pay the full premium until he proves it's not a one-game pump and dump. It's a breakout candle on huge volume, but the tape needs follow-through. One hot session doesn't make a new trend. His valuation jumps immediately on narrative and confidence, yet the real multiple expands only if he strings together repeatable minutes.
Brobby's playing like a battering ram with velvet feet. Sweden bounce off him and he still keeps the ball. And you're spot on about the spacing. Orange shirts in every lane, passing options everywhere. It's like Sweden are defending a chessboard with half the pieces.
Draw just ticked up 2.5% and the spread widened. Tiny bid depth means any whiff of chaos can gap it like a counterattack. Netherlands stays steady at 94-95, but bid depth is thinning, so the sure thing crowd isn't adding aggressively. Sweden's still A1.
Sweden look like a stock in free fall defensively. Potter's halftime is the emergency circuit breaker. Give us your market correction take. What's the quickest fix he can make to stop the bleeding?
Yeah, that's a circuit breaker moment. First move is reduce volatility, drop the line deeper, add an extra body in midfield, and kill transitions. In market terms, you don't win back the day at halftime. You stabilize the tape and live to reprice later.
Robbie's put his name on the marquee tonight. 2 goals, and the Dutch are absolutely purring out there. Now it's about Sweden's response after the break, because if they don't change the script fast, this could turn into a long, long evening. Big number 19, Brobby, wearing that shirt like a superhero cape, 2 up, and it feels fully deserved. The Dutch have Sweden on the ropes here, and you're just waiting for that next punch or a sudden Swedish swing back. But we've got a bit of ad break poetry sneaking into the broadcast there, but on the pitch, it's still Netherlands in cruise control, 82-0. Sweden need a lift quicker than any car can offer, because right now they're chasing shadows. That's the sponsor doing the tiki-taka, but Sweden would love a co-pilot of their own right now, someone to organize the chaos at the back. The Dutch have been running the schedule, and Sweden need a new plan fast when we're back. Names flying in like a team sheet, but Sweden's problem is they've been second to every ball. No introductions needed. The Dutch have already made themselves at home. When play resumes, I want to see Sweden bring some bite, because this has been too comfortable.
Netherlands ticks back to 94%, even with the bids still. Totally, this is a trend market where the dip buyers keep showing up, so Sweden needs a catalyst, not vibes. A halftime pivot is like a surprise earnings beat. Tighten risk first, then take a few high conviction shots to flip sentiment.
That APR's dropping like a deep-lying midfielder, but Sweden's interest rate in this match is rising fast, 82-0 down. If they don't invest in a response soon, the Dutch will keep collecting dividends with every attack.
Love it. Rate cuts plus a bonus is basically stimulus. It pulls demand forward and makes the cost of carry feel lighter, even if the game's already trending your way. Netherlands 82-0 is the blue chip grinding higher. Sweden's the junk.
Platinum talk aside, Sweden need a card of their own, something to stop this Dutch rhythm, because right now it's all smooth service and no resistance. If they don't disrupt the menu, they'll be paying the bill with another goal. We're 2-0 Netherlands and Sweden look overrun. Any quick market-style analogy on momentum swings and what a halftime pivot looks like? Yeah, this pause is gold dust. Sweden's bench has to hit the reset button and plug those gaps before the Dutch flood in again. One tweak in shape, one sharper press, and suddenly the tide can turn, but they've got to act now. Absolutely. Whatever you think of it, it's a mini timeout, and Sweden desperately need it like a lifeline in choppy seas. If the coach can get one clear message across, tighten up, win the second balls, this game can stop slipping away. Dutch are 2-0 up and Sweden look overrun. Hydration break feels like a tactical timeout. Any quick market-style take on momentum swings and how a reset can change the trend?
Exactly. Those breaks are like a volatility halt. They don't change the score, but they can cool the chase and reset positioning. If Sweden comes out with one clean chance, you'll see a quick repricing. Momentum's a fragile lead when everyone's leaning the same way.
The scary part is, it's not even dead balls doing the damage. This is open play, wave after wave, stretching Sweden wide and slicing through the middle. If you're Sweden, you're begging for a foothold because the Dutch are playing with swagger. That's it. Today, the Netherlands are snapping it around with purpose, like they've got a metronome in midfield and rockets out wide. Japan sat in and clogged the lanes, but Sweden are giving them air to breathe, and the Dutch are punishing it with tempo. This is where the table starts whispering in your ear. Netherlands can smell the top spot, and that makes them even more ruthless. But Sweden aren't dead yet. That opening win is their safety net, and one punch on the break can change the whole mood. Sweden try to step out, but it's like running into a brick wall painted orange. Everything gets swallowed up before it breathes. The Dutch press is squeezing the life out of these attacks, and you can feel Sweden's confidence wobbling with every turnover. Oof, that's better from Sweden. Finally a run with a bit of bite, a little Brighton burst to wake the stadium up. But the final ball has to sing, because right now the Dutch backline are reading it like tomorrow's headlines. Now you're talking, Sweden finally string a couple together and you can feel the nerves flicker in orange shirts. If Iari starts getting touches in that pocket, this match can turn in a heartbeat because he's the one who can slip the dagger pass. That's why defenders earn their dinner. Huge block, body on the line, no questions asked. With a finisher like Gyökeres sniffing around, you cannot give him a second look at it because the next one might be in the net. Karlstrom absolutely leathered that volley, and Lindelöf just throws himself in front like a human shield. Captain stuff. You can hear the thud from up here, and Sweden are suddenly knocking on the door with real menace.
Big shift back toward risk on for Netherlands. Bid depth just surged, so buyers are stepping in to defend that 3.93 line like a center back winning headers late. Sweden still stuck 8,02, but the draw ask while ballooning tells you the market's.
That little near post tease had danger written all over it, but Lindelöf reads it and snuffs it out, calm in the chaos. Sweden have to hit that wide channel and whip it early, make those runs count before the Dutch reset their shape. You're spot on. Those Dutch deliveries have been like guided missiles, and Dumfries in particular has been slinging them in with venom. All it needs is one attacker to gamble at the right moment, and it's curtains because the service has been top drawer. Exactly. Once you shift it wide at the right moment, the whole defense has to swivel, and that's when the cracks appear. The Dutch are playing it like a metronome, wide, early, and suddenly you're scrambling in your own box. Now there's space for Gakpo to burn into, and Larsson scrambling across like he's chasing a taxi in the rain. De Jong just glides through the middle, and if the Dutch keep it tidy here, Sweden could be hanging on by their fingernails. Sweden cough it up again, and Gakpo's sniffing blood, but Isak nicks it, and suddenly it's a counter with a bit of bite. If he gets his head up and finds the runner, this could flip from danger to delight in a heartbeat.
Netherlands slips back to 0.93, 0.94, even with solid bid depth, so sellers are leaning on the favorite. Think a team protecting a lead but inviting pressure. Sweden's bid drops to 0.01, so the upset money is backing off again. Draw liquidity.
Oh, that's the moment. Arias is absolutely free and the ball lands like a gift and he doesn't take it first time. You've got to attack that with your forehead, not try to cuddle it down. Sweden will feel that one in their bones. Oh, that's a sitter in international football. Arias goes in, perfect delivery, and he tries to bring it down like he's got all day. You've got to meet that with conviction because chances like that don't come with a return policy.
Absolutely, Leo. It's like having a penalty with the keeper already leaning and you still try to place it too cute and hit the post. Markets do that at 0.93. Everyone sees the win, but hesitation means you pay up or miss the move.
That earlier giveaway from Van Hager is the kind of loose touch that turns into a siren for a counter, and Sweden nearly cashed it in. And Gyökeres, what a wand of a left foot, bending it in like he's painting a target on the 6-yard box. Sweden are starting to stitch a few passes together now. Isak and Gyökeres down that left side is suddenly looking like a proper problem. If they keep finding those pockets, you can feel the crowd thinking, hang on, we're in this. They've been chasing shadows a bit, no doubt. Overrun early, legs heavy, minds rushed. But if they settle and play through the lines, this game can flip fast. And that's when it gets tasty. Isak's touch there is pure class. He tries to spark it, tries to turn the dial up, but Van der Ven comes flying in like a closing door, bang, and the move just dies on contact.
Netherlands stays pinned 80.93, 0.94, but the bid depth is bouncing back. Buyers are reforming the defensive line after that wobble. Draw is still 0.05, 0.06, yet the top bid sitting down at 0.02 tells you conviction.
First time from Gyökeres, and Iari tries to bend it like he's painting the top corner, just can't quite wrap the boot around it. But listen, Sweden have woken up now, the rhythm's back, and the pressure's starting to hum. That little Potter chat has clearly lit a fuse. Sweden looks sharper, braver, like someone's turned the volume up, and Isak drifting left is causing problems, pulling defenders out of shape instead of standing up top waiting for scraps. IMO, in-game management feels like risk management. Dutch blew 2 leads versus Japan. Any quick market analogy on protecting gains and momentum swings? Amo, that stat Dutch blowing 2 leads is like a stock giving back gains twice in one session. Jump in on the psychology of protecting a lead and how teams hedge when momentum swings. Imo, that stat's wild. Dutch blowing 2 leads like a stock giving back gains twice in one session. Jump in. How do you read that momentum swing and in-game management under pressure?
Totally. Once you've round-tripped a lead, the market starts pricing tilt risk, and every small wobble gets sold harder. Good in-game management is like de-risking. Shorten passes, kill the clock, and don't take hero shots from 40 yards.
Rinder's run was begging for it, but you can feel that hesitation after a couple of loose touches. Football's a cruel little memory game. Van der Ven slides across smartly, and that clipped ball down the line is pure pressure release, buying Sweden a breather. 12 years since they've seen a European rival on this stage, and that Spain memory still echoes like thunder in Dutch boots, but today's got its own edge. Sweden are sniffing a wobble, and one slip can flip the whole script, Ryan. 2 today from a lad who barely had one for his country before this. Football writes the wildest plot twists. He's not just a scorer, he's the glue. Pressing, linking, dragging defenders around like he's towing a caravan. Absolutely, he's a battering ram with a brain, pinning those Swedish center backs so nobody else has to wrestle them. And when he holds it up, runners start flying past like it's a slipstream on a motorway. Sweden are getting stretched. Robbie's on the hunt, and Lindelöf's sprinting back like the house alarm's gone off. When he's feeling it, he just leans in and rolls you. Trying to stop him is like hugging a fridge that's decided to run downhill. Love that. World Cup nights turn into a magnet for legends and storytellers, even the ones behind the lens. And you can feel it in the stadium too, like the whole place knows it's part of something bigger than 90 minutes. Ooh, that's silky. One touch little flick and suddenly Sweden are in behind with the crowd holding its breath. Van Heck has got to hit the target there because chances like that don't come with a gift receipt. He's overthinking it. Just hit it early and make the keeper work because that hesitation is a defender's best friend. But you're right, when Sweden actually zip it around, they look dangerous in a heartbeat and the whole tempo shifts. He's got to pull the trigger. One extra touch and the window slams shut and Van Hecke says thank you very much. But when Sweden start popping it with confidence, you can feel the Dutch backline suddenly checking their mirrors. Isak's playing with that calm swagger tonight, dropping in, stitching moves together, making it all look easy. And yeah, when you're the headline act for your country, you can see him enjoying the keys to the whole orchestra. Absolutely. At a superstar club, it's like walking into a packed dressing room and trying not to step on anyone's toes, so you end up playing safe. International football flips it. You're the guy, you take responsibility, and suddenly the confidence comes roaring back. IMO, this bit about stars fitting in at big clubs, feels like a portfolio of blue chips where everyone plays safe. Got a quick market analogy for why some talents shine more when they're the main man? That's the blueprint. Shut the middle, squeeze the lanes, and suddenly all that Dutch rhythm turns into sideways passing. If Sweden stay compact and patient, the Netherlands will start forcing it, and that's when mistakes creep in. Yeah, that's the danger sign. Those late runners are ghosting in, and Sweden are ball watching for a split second. One well-weighted pass, and it's panic stations because you can't pick up a man arriving at full speed.
We've got the favorite still pinned at 94%, but the sell wall on Netherlands just got a lot thicker. Ask depth jumps hard, so any rally is running into a parked bus. Draw bids refilled, which tells you hedgers are back on the pitch. This market's saying Netherlands like...
Exactly. If the timing's right, that high line becomes a tightrope, and De Jong's got the passing range to cut it open like a surgeon. You can sit as deep as you like, but one runner goes, one ball follows, and suddenly you're chasing shadow.
Netherlands ticks down a hair to 93%, and more importantly, that sell side pressure eased. Ask depth got cut, so the parked bus is backing up. Draw liquidity is still chunky on the offer, so the market's pricing a calm game but staying hedged. Feels like every...
De Jong's got that radar, doesn't he? Make that diagonal dart and he'll thread it through like he's reading minds. And look at Sweden in the huddle there. Plenty of pointing and talking. They know one lapse and they're in trouble. Sweden's patchy form, 5 losses in 10, feels like a volatile stock. Early dip, then a bounce after the opener, but now they're 2 down and confidence is getting tested. Any quick take on momentum and market sentiment in a team like this? Potters had to roll the dice, and since that tweak, you can feel Sweden settling, more compact, more bite, less panic. But 2 down is a mountain, and the Netherlands will smell any loose touch like blood in the water. Isak out at wingback is a real curveball. He's got the legs and the flair, but it's a lot of running and a lot of defending. Sweden are shuffling the deck here, trying to find a spark without leaving the back door wide open. Sweden just carved the Dutch open. Slick move ends with a big Verbruggen save. Feels like momentum swinging. Any market-style take on how a tactical shape change can suddenly reprice a game?
Yep, that's a regime change. Like a stock breaking out after a surprise guidance tweak, the market has to reprice the new information fast. One clean chance forces traders to respect the tail risk, spreads widen, and the favorites' premium compresses even.
That's the mark of a proper side, 2 down, crowd murmuring, and they come out swinging with pride and purpose. But you're right, you don't rattle Van Dijk with hopeful punts. You've got to move him, make him turn, make him doubt. Exactly. Those 3 at the back eat long balls for breakfast. It's like tossing pebbles at a fortress. Sweden's looked miles sharper since the shape change, and in this stadium you can feel the crowd just waiting for one moment to ignite it.
That draw market just lost its floor. Bid depth collapses to about 3K, so one decent Sweden push and it can gap like a thinly traded small cap. Netherlands still priced steady at 0.93, 0.94, but the real tell is liquidity. Fewer buyers means sharp.
Ah, the ghosts of comebacks live in this place, don't they? Brady did it here, and Sweden are trying to write their own chapter tonight, but the Dutch won't gift it. Sweden need 1 goal fast to turn this into absolute chaos. Van de Ven thunders up the pitch like a freight train. Lindelöf had to be brave just to get in the way. And now Gakpo sniffing around. Great tackle, but oh no, that loose touch could be a gift-wrapped chance for the Dutch. The Dutch are zipping it around now. Gravenberch with that smooth glide, and suddenly the ball's clipped in with real menace. 2-0 Netherlands, and it's been a firecracker. Robbie struck twice, and Sweden were left blinking early doors, but the last 10 minutes, Sweden have actually played with more polish, just missing that final punch to turn possession into panic. Gakpo wriggles free again. He's got that street football shimmy, and suddenly he's pulling the trigger. Nordfeldt stands tall and clutches it like it's gold dust because Sweden were wobbling there under another Dutch surge. You're spot on. When Gakpo cuts inside onto that right, you can almost hear the defenders groan because it's coming every time. The power's there, but the finish is a touch too polite. Sweden need York to get tighter and make him feel it. Sweden's football has been brave and bright, no doubt. There's real rhythm in their passing when they get a spell. And later tonight, Tunisia-Japan on FS1. That's another one with sparks written all over it. Imo will be watching the market movers there. Sweden are finally landing a few jabs, York making the keeper work, and you can sense the Dutch backline starting to glance over their shoulders. One clean connection from Irie or Alex, and this stadium goes from comfortable to chaotic in a heartbeat.
Not much new on price. Netherlands still camped at 0.93, 0.94, and the market's basically saying, see this out. The story is still that draw bid is under $1,000, so it's a flimsy safety net if the match gets nervy late. Sweden stuck at 2% with almost no real demand.
Isak's starting to sniff danger, but the Netherlands answer back with that wicked clipped ball. Dumfries just a fraction late, and you could feel the header begging for contact. One better timed run, and that's a real good night moment. Marlon gets to the byline on a tight angle and fizzes it across. Danger written all over it, but nobody gambles at the far stick. Robbie and Gao were sniffing around, and that's the kind of ball you've got to attack like it owes you money. Oh, that's a killer touch from Niari. Half shot, half cross, and all poison. You see the keeper hesitate, defenders freeze, and suddenly it feels like curtains for Sweden. That's the sort of delivery that wins you matches in one wicked swing. They're lurking like sharks in the 6-yard box, Robbie and Gao just begging for one clean drop. When you've got 2 finishers sniffing around like that, every ball in becomes a lottery ticket for the defenders.
Netherlands just softens a tick to 0.92, 0.93 while draw liquidity keeps building, nearly 9K on the bid, so the market's quietly hedging the late drama script. That's classic crowd psychology, still backing the favorite, but buying insurance in case the game...
Yeah, that's a massive leap. From Germany's second tier to this Dutch pressure cooker, it's like going from a pond to the ocean. But assists are assists, and Isak slipping that pass in, oof, you can smell a chance brewing. Imo Niari just unleashed one. Crowd begging for a rocket finish. Give me a quick market-style take. Is this the momentum swing that sends the Dutch stock soaring or a bubble about to pop?
I hear you, Leo. One big chance is like a fast break that wakes the stadium, but the tape says the Dutch are still priced like they're up 2 goals. The real tell is that draw bids are thickening, so traders are hedging the late equalizer risk even if the favorite stays on top. Netherlands snaps back up to 0.93, 0.94, and bid depth jumps to 355k. Buyers stepping in like a team killing the game with possession. But the drawbook is still getting sturdier with a 0.04 top bid, so the market's cheering the favorite while keeping one eye on stock.
Sweden look a different side now, calmer on the ball, heads up, picking the right pass instead of forcing it. That composure is dangerous because it's the quiet moments that suddenly turn into a dagger of a chance. IMO, Sweden settling and the tempo's shifting. Give us a quick market read on momentum swings like this and maybe a cheeky plug for that halftime show. Lindelöf stands tall and De Jong answers right back. Two midfield generals trading punches without throwing a haymaker. And you're right, this has been proper entertainment. Clarence is going to have a field day at halftime breaking down all that quality. If that third one lands, it feels like the door slams shut, bang, lights out. But I'm with you, there's still space for chances here, and Sweden dropping off is like inviting trouble to dinner. You don't always like what turns up. Sweden sinking into a shell at 2 down feels like they're putting the handbrake on while rolling downhill. And De Jong, he's absolutely loving it, strutting around like he owns the midfield, snapping into duels and turning away from pressure with that cool swagger. That midfield rotation is purring now. One drops, one darts, and suddenly the lanes open like a zipper. Gravenberch pushing on gives them real bite between the lines, but Japan won't sit still. They'll sniff a gap and spring like a trap door. Absolutely. Why overcomplicate it when one punchy move can crack the whole thing open? That hold-up play is pure striker's craft. Then the assist arrives like a gift-wrapped present. Sweden have to stop the supply line, not just the finisher.
Netherlands win prob ticks down a hair to 91%, even as the quote stays 0.91, 0.92. That's the market saying price to perfection, no more easy upside. And look at Sweden, massive ask depth 8.0.
That's ruthless efficiency. One gorgeous delivery and Broby's there like he's got a reservation at the back post. When a team's that direct, it's like a fast break in basketball. Blink and you're picking it out of the net. Sweden need a response and quick. Dembele in the box is pure danger. He only needs a half chance and the stadium holds its breath. And that first finish from Broby, that's classic number 9 instinct, sniffing it out before anyone else reacts. If Sweden don't tighten up, this could snowball.
We're basically frozen at 0.91, 0.92 with win odds back to 92%. That's a stalemate price, like the favorite just knocking it around the back line. The real tell is the draw. Tiny bids versus a massive 0.07 sell wall, so any wobble in Netherlands momentum.
Sweden have actually shown some real bite since the early shock. Credit to them, they've pushed and probed, but Broden's been a brick wall, slamming the door on those chances like a bouncer at closing time. If they keep knocking, though, one might sneak through. Oh, that's a top-class stop from Fabric. Reflexes like a cat on a hot tin roof. When it skids through bodies and legs like that, the keeper's basically guessing with genius. Yari sniffing around again. You can feel it building.
Netherlands slips back to 91% without the price budging. Tells you the tape's heavy and buyers are getting tired legs. Draw liquidity is still lopsided with that 0.07 wall. So if Sweden lands one punch, the repricing won't be gradual. It'll be a quick.
He sees it so late there, through a forest of legs, and it's inches from turning into the kind of goal that flips a match on its head. Sweden have definitely had the momentum lately. You can sense the crowd leaning with every shot. Just keep your nerve now, don't force it. As a neutral, I love it. Sweden took the punch, steadied the legs, and started landing their own shots. They've turned it into a proper contest, but they've got to make that pressure count before the clock steals their momentum. What's your read? Do they need more risk or more patience? Absolutely. Those first 20 minutes set the tone sharp, brave, and full of intent, like they've been shot out of a cannon. That spirit is priceless, but now it's about sustaining it when legs get heavy and decisions get messy. Keep that edge and the chances will come. Yeah, that's the difference maker. Dembele waiting, then bang the killer pass like a trader timing the market. The high press is squeezing chances out of them now, but you're right to want more. Turn those half openings into a real punch on goal.
Netherlands still holds the 0.91, 0.92 line, but the draw bid stack is thinning. Less support under 0.06 means any scare could lift the draw fast. Sweden's still a ghost town on bids with a giant 0.03 offer, so up.
Amo, they're talking consistency over 90 and Germany coming up. Give us your 2 wins from 2 market-style take. Do the Germans look like a blue-chip steamroller, or is there volatility against Ivory Coast?
We're seeing a tiny risk on pulse, draw bid depth ticked up, and Sweden's ask wall actually shrank, so the long shot crowd is sniffing around. But Netherlands is still the heavyweight champ, 0.91, 0.92. Until that price cracks, this is just noise.
Hold on. Chewy Pharmacy for Homer? That's a hard left turn from the pitch, like a winger suddenly selling dog meds on the touchline. Imo, is this an ad break, or have we been hijacked by the pet care market? We've been hijacked by a Chewy Pharmacy ad midstream. Can you riff on CHWI like it's a stock ticker while I steer us back to football?
Perfect. CHUI is the kind of ticker that rips on cute branding but still trades on margins and repeat customers, so one bad quarter, and it sheds fur fast. Now let's get back to the pitch before my portfolio starts barking. Yeah, that's a full-on triple sub. Noise for the broadcast, but Chewy's the only one that trades like a real momentum name because it's tied to recurring spend and sentiment. Butterfinger and Ferrero are more defensive staples vibes, steady but not moving the tape.
IMO, we're getting absolutely flooded by ad reads. Chewy, Butterfinger, Ferrero, Progressive. Give me the market angle. Which of these brands is actually moving the needle and who's just noise?
Yeah, that ad mix screams, consumers still spending but hunting value and convenience. Pets and insurance are sticky and brands are paying up to stay top of mind. It's like a team pressing high. Confidence is there, but they're working hard to keep possession.
That's a lovely afternoon until someone tries the easy peasy chip and slices it into the parking lot. Football's got a wicked sense of humor. And hey, birthday vibes in the car. Keep it on the fairway, Anna. Eyes up, play safe. A beautiful Premier League afternoon, tight tackles, loud stands, and that feeling anything can happen in the next heartbeat. And Guinness on the touchline? That's the kind of sponsorship that says, settle in, drama's on tap. IMO, they're dropping resale value stats like it's the league table. Tacoma and Tundra top 2 per Kelly. Give us the market angle. Why trucks hold value like title contenders. That's the kind of talk that sounds like a team built for a title run. Built to last, built to bully, and still flying in the 90th minute. IMO would call it strong fundamentals. I call it don't blink, they'll nick a winner. IMO, they're pitching Tacoma Tundra top resale value and low APR. Give us the quick market angle. Why resale plus financing hooks buyers and what it says about consumer demand right now.
Netherlands ticks up to 92% while bid depth actually thins. So price is firm, but the support underneath is a little less muscular. That's like a team holding possession without creating chances. Looks safe until one counterattack hits.
IMO, they're dropping KBB best buys and resale value like it's a transfer fee. Give us the market angle. Does this kind of brand strength actually move the needle for Toyota, or is it just ad time noise? IMO, Toyota stacking KBB best buys, RAV4, Tacoma, Camry. This is brand equity in full voice. Give us the quick market take. Does this kind of resale value dominance actually move the needle for investors, or is it just showroom noise?
Agreed. Resale dominance is investor relevant because it supports pricing, keeps lease residuals high, and reduces the need for costly incentives when the cycle turns. It's like having home field advantage baked into every match. Not flashy, but it wins season.
IMO, Toyota's pushing resale value and low APR like a blue chip dividend. How big is that hold value edge really when rates are tight and budgets are squeezed?
You're spot on. When rates bite, the monthly payment is the whole game, and strong residuals let Toyota subsidize leases with less pain. That holds value edge is like fitness late in the match. It doesn't score, but it keeps you from collapsing.
Mercy me, Broby's on fire, 2-17, and the defenders are chasing shadows like it's a bad dream. That's the kind of start that makes a stadium levitate. V's a moment of the heart indeed. Sunderland fans are already singing like they've won it. IMO, we've got a $29 striker delivering the fastest World Cup brace ever. Talk about instant return on investment. Give me your market take. Is Broby the hottest asset on the pitch right now?
No doubt, that's a momentum trade in boots. 2 goals that fast is like a stock gapping up on earnings and forcing everyone to reprice in real time. Hottest asset right now, but the risk is the mean reversion tackle. 1 quiet stretch and the premium cools fast.
IMO, Kalshi's pushing predictions. Give us the quick market angle. Is this like trading odds, and what's the risk for fans jumping in mid-tournament?
Yeah, it trades like odds with a bid-ask spread. Price is just the crowd's live probability, and it can whip around on 1 goal like a momentum stock on a headline. Mid-tournament entrants face slippage and thin liquidity in long shots, so you can overpay fast.
Rocket Mortgage and Redfin promising a smooth run home. Saving 12 grand is like nicking a goal on the break in stoppage time. If only every move was that clean. No VAR, no drama, just straight into the top corner. A daily GLP-1 pill in the middle of all this chaos. Talk about a tidy one-touch finish for the waistline. Up to 25 pounds off is a serious swing in form, like dropping a defender and bursting into space. That any time of day bit sounds like total freedom. No pre-match rituals, just straight onto the pitch. But those warnings are the referee's whistle. If there's any history like that, you don't play on, you get medical advice immediately. Those red flag symptoms, neck swelling, severe stomach pain, vision changes, are like a player going down clutching the knee. You stop the game and get checked. No heroics. Serious side effects aren't something you dribble past, so it's straight to the doctor. Mixing it with insulin or a sulfonylurea and risking low blood sugar, that's a dangerous counterattack if you're not watching the midfield. And if nausea or vomiting hits and dehydration follows, you've got to slow it down and get proper medical guidance before it turns into a real... IMO, they're pitching savings and support like a transfer deal. Want your quick take on how these health brands use pricing and incentives to hook people?
Totally. Classic customer acquisition play. Discount upfront, bundle perks, and hope habit turns into recurring revenue, like paying a transfer fee for a striker you expect to score for seasons. The risk is churn if the savings fade or the product doesn't deliver.
They're selling it like a full-press defense, coverage everywhere, no gaps, even in the danger zone. And the might burn line is a crunching tackle warning. Nobody wants that sting when the match is already heating up.
Netherlands just ticked down a hair on implied odds, 91%, but price is still stuck 80.91, 0.92, so it's more nerves than a real momentum shift. The draw book looks flimsy with that top bid sitting at 0.05, meaning any...
That Salsa's coming in with main character energy like a super sub demanding the ball, spicy, flashy, and straight at goal. And 12 celebrities get schooled? That's a training ground humiliation reel. Someone's about to misspell it under pressure.
Now the Netherlands bid depth just dropped sharply while the price...
Somerville's getting the call, and that usually means the bench has spotted a wobble, either a knock or a tactical panic button. This is one of those moments where the next 5 minutes tell you everything. Steady the ship or... There it is, Somerville on, and you can feel the tempo about to spike, like someone's just turned the volume knob to max. If he brings that spark from the last match, Sweden's backline might be in for a long, long half. Now that's the real headline. World Cup 2026 on Fox, and Lay's sliding in as the sponsor like a crisp 1-2 on the counter. You can almost hear the stadium roar already, and the crunch in the ad breaks.
Netherlands is still priced like a heavy favorite, but the bid depth keeps bleeding. Down again. And that's the kind of quiet fade that can turn into a sudden air pocket. Sweden's ask depth just ballooned.
He's tasted it already. First goal, first buzz, and now he's thrown back in with a 2-goal cushion like a luxury sports car off the bench. And those World Cup numbers, that's the kind of stat that either calms you down or jinxes you in a heartbeat. Ah, so it's the calf they've been nursing. Nothing major, but you don't gamble unless you smell blood. 2-0 up and you unleash Somerville anyway. That's a statement. The Dutch want to slam the door, not just hold it shut.
Big tell here. Draw bid depth keeps sliding, now near 17K. So the market's basically saying, we're not paying for chaos. Meanwhile, Netherlands' liquidity actually thickened on both sides, but that's more crowd control than conviction. Like a team slowing the...
Somerville in a 1v1 is pure trouble. Give him a yard and he'll take a mile. Defenders start backpedaling like they've seen a ghost. If he's fit enough to run at people, Sweden's fullbacks are about to have a very busy shift.
Order book just got weird. Draw top bid shows 0.01 and top ask 0.99, and Netherlands top bid also 0.01. Looks like liquidity pulled, possible data glitch, or sudden halt. Can you riff on this like a match momentum, everyone steps off the pitch moment, and what it...
That's the kind of record that feels like armor. 2 up at the break and history's got your back. But football's a slippery thing. One early punch after halftime, and suddenly that never-lost stat starts sweating. Sweden are absolutely alive if they land the next punch. Those last 20 minutes had real bite, just no finish on it. And Potter holding Langar back, that's poker face management, keeping a trump card for when the game tilts and nerves start jangling. You can see it. Every time he squares up, the defender's feet turn to cement because that burst is electric. That right side's been creaking, and those little slipped balls through the channel are like needles, one clean thread, and it's panic stations. On the replay, that's clean as a whistle. He nicks it first, and the rest is just bodies colliding at full tilt. Sometimes the whistle comes from the roar more than the contact, and the defender's thinking, what else am I meant to do?
Order book's gone ultra thin on the draw. Bid depth collapsed to hotter 4K while asks sit in goofy 0.99 walls. Feels like everyone's parked the bus liquidity-wise. Any late goal could cause...
Gakpo! That's the dagger. 3-0, and you can almost hear the air leave the opposition bench. He's hit it with that cold, clinical swagger, and the Dutch are purring now like a well-tuned engine. Van Heck is in the mix, and you can feel the crowd still shaking off the halftime haze. Houston's just settling back in, but 2 goals is a proper punch on the scoreboard, and the Dutch look like they've got that swagger in their stride now. That halftime lull is like thin liquidity, crowd still filing in, game feels quiet, then bang, 2 quick goals, and the whole stadium reprices the mood instantly. Momentum feeds itself. Once the Dutch smell it, everyone rushes to the same side. Somerville's turn is pure silk. He's wriggled out of traffic, and suddenly the tempo lifts. But he's got to keep his head with that booking hanging over him, because one rash lunge and he's watching the next one in a track. Robbie sniffing that hat trick again. He's living in the danger zone tonight. Koeman's grinning like a man who's just watched his team hit straight out of the blocks. Netherlands come flying, and Sweden are still rubbing their eyes. That Somerville turn was pure street football, a little swivel of magic that opens the whole pitch like a curtain.
Draw is now effectively dead money, 81.2 cents, with only a few $100 of real bid support, one decent sell, and it's straight through the floor. Netherlands holdings 0.97, 0.98 tells you the crowd's in see it out mode, but the exit doors are...
IMO, that move was like a blue chip rally. Somerville's feet, Dumfries wide, Gakpo may be offside, but the football's soaring. Give us your market metaphor for this Dutch liftoff.
Yeah, Leo, that's a full-on risk-on melt-up. Once the Dutch start stringing passes, shorts get margin called, and everyone chases the last few cents of upside. It's like a late winner. Price doesn't walk, it sprints. Netherlands just inched closer to the finish line, 80.98, 0.99. This is the market pricing a clean win, not a sweat. But look at that 0.99 wall on the ask. It's like defenders on the goal line, upside is pennies, and the real move is only if chaos hits.
You're spot on. Same pattern, same punishment, because Sweden's shape keeps leaving that same doorway open and the Dutch keep walking right through it. When a team finds the weak seam, they tug it again and again until the whole shirt rips. IMO, Dumfries is bombing on like a blue chip growth stock. If Real Madrid fans are watching, they're seeing serious value in those early unpressured crosses. What's your take on the transfer market hype and how clubs price a performance like this? IMO, Dumfries is putting on a Bernabeu audition. Real Madrid fans must be watching. From a market angle, how much does a performance like this move a player's valuation and transfer chatter in real time? IMO, Dumfries is getting linked with Real Madrid. Give us the transfer market angle, valuation, brand impact, and how a Champions League run can spike a player's stock.
Yeah, Leo, a Champions League run is like a playoff heater. Suddenly the player's brand beta jumps and clubs pay for the story as much as the skill set. But the smart buyers look for repeatable actions, not one viral cross or you're overpaying at the top tick.
Sweden's pride is hanging on by a thread here, but the Dutch keep yanking it with those early balls. Dumfries is a runaway train when he's facing forward, and that little Brobby touch into Gakpo. Oof, you can feel the crowd inhale even if the challenge snuffs it out.
Netherlands is still priced like a near lock, but you can see the market getting a bit more brittle. Bid depth is thinning while that 0.99 sell wall stays chunky. That's late game nerves. Everyone's winning, but nobody wants to be last out if a free...
Yeah, you can feel it. This is screaming for a change because that flank is creaking like an old stadium roof in a storm. When the Dutch hit the gas, whip it wide, and sling those early crosses, Sweden look a step behind and a yard short.
Yeah, Leo, down 3-0 is like a stock that's gapped down on awful news. Confidence evaporates and you start forcing trades just to feel alive. Sweden will push higher, take wild shots, and that's when the counterattack risk turns into a full-blown liquidation.
That delivery had real venom on it, exactly the kind of ball that makes center halves panic and strikers sniff blood. And you're right, Sweden need another calm head in that pocket, someone who can actually keep it in play, not just chase shadows. IMO, Sweden are talking damage limitation at 3-0 down. Feels like risk management now. Give us your take. Do you shut it down to protect goal difference like protecting a portfolio, or keep chasing upside and risk getting blown up? That's the cold math of tournament football. Sometimes you're not chasing a miracle, you're protecting the goal difference like it's a lead in stoppage time. In a tight group, one extra concession can be the difference between a quarterfinal dream and an early flight home.
Netherlands is still priced like a near certainty 80.99, but notice the draw ticked up a hair. Tiny, yet it's the market whispering weird stuff can happen. With Sweden basically unbid, any comeback narrative would be pure momentum, not fundamentals.
That's the table tightening like a vice. Every touch, every clearance suddenly feels like it's worth half a goal. Netherlands sitting pretty, Japan lurking, and Sweden can't afford to let that number bleed any further or it'll haunt them later. And just like that, the arithmetic flips the whole story. Sweden's margin is shrinking with every Dutch surge. Here comes Goodmanson with the long throw, and you can feel the box tense up, bodies bracing for the second ball. Sweden are not...
Spot on, Leo. This is a table where one booking is like a margin call warning. You can't press as hard without risking a red, so you de-lever the aggression. Yeah, that's the ref moving the spread mid-match. Same tackle, different outcome, and suddenly everyone reprices risk. You'll see players stop lunging, like traders widening stops after a surprise spike, and the game gets choppier but safer.
That's a statement maker, isn't it? 2 goals at that age, and suddenly the whole tournament knows your name. He's playing like he's got no fear and no ceiling, the kind of swagger that makes defenders backpedal before he's even touched it. IMO, this group's turning into pure goal difference math. One yellow, one goal, and the whole table swings. Give us the market reaction angle. Who's under pressure and who's suddenly bullish? Yellow card flashes, momentum swing, and discipline risk here. Any quick take on how a booking changes a team's risk profile and game management like a portfolio under pressure?
Netherlands is still pinned 8-0.99, but the tell is liquidity. Bids keep stacking while the offer thins, so the crowd's leaning no surprises. Draw interest is basically pocket change versus that massive ask wall. This market's parking the bus and running.
Michael Oliver's gone to the pocket, and you can feel the temperature rise straight away. Sweden's defender won't like that one bit. If it's just tangled laces, it's harsh.
Bang on, Leo.
But once the
This is a
ref
full-on
sets that
melt-up,
line,
the kind where shorts
every
are forced to
tackle
cover and
after
the
this
tape
gets
just
played on a
levitates.
knife.
8-4-0, it's like a
Big
stock
defensive
hitting
header
limit
there.
up.
He's read the danger
Fundamentals don't
early
matter,
and just
only
takes the
time
sting
left
out
on
of
the
it.
clock.
Now it's route one and chaos ball, and the Dutch have to scramble it out before Sweden can pounce on that second phase. Oh, that's a let-off for the Dutch. Sweden had the lane, but the touch just deserts him at the worst moment. You could see Isak trying to time it, gets back on side, and then the ball slips away like soap in the shower.
Now you're seeing the classic price to perfection setup. Netherlands is 0.99 bid, but the ask finally ticks to 100, meaning sellers want full-time service.
Houston's bouncing. Houston is a sea of orange. This feels like a carnival with a scoreboard attached. 2 for Broby, 2 for Gakpo, and the Dutch are celebrating like they've just put a stamp on the whole tournament. IMO, that's a blue chip finish from Gakpo. 4-0, and the Dutch are absolutely soaring. Give us the market analogy. Is this a runaway rally or what? They're absolutely tearing the roof off this one. Orange shirts everywhere, and Sweden look like they're chasing shadows. 8-4-0. It's not a contest now, it's a statement. And the Dutch are still playing like they want a fifth run. Bergvall and Zanelli coming on feels like Sweden throwing fresh legs into a storm, but the Dutch tempo is still humming like a well-tuned engine. And Gravenberch, ice in the veins, he waits, he releases, and suddenly it's chaos. Yeah, IMO, that's the classic too little, too late triple change, like buying insurance after the house is burned down. 4-0 is a statement scoreline, and the Dutch are purring now, just seeing this out with swagger. IMO, this Dutch counter is like a blue chip rally. One turnover and bang, value explodes in seconds. Gakpo's finishing is pure market confidence. What's your take on momentum when the opponent can't even get a touch?
Exactly, Leo. When Sweden can't string passes, it's like a market with no bids. Every sell-off attempt just gets absorbed and price snaps back. Absolutely, Leo. Milestones are like a breakout print on the tape. They turbocharge the story and pull in the late money chasing headlines. It can re-rate a player overnight, but the smart desks know the hype fades fast if the next match is quiet. Yeah, Leo, this is a runaway bull trend, price pinned at the highs because there's no real supply left, just late buyers paying up for certainty. A blow-off top needs volatility and two-way flow. Here it's one-way traffic, like a team killing the clock in the corner. Netherlands is still pinned at 100, but look at that ask. Depth collapsing, only about 35k for sale now, so there's basically no float left. That's classic, everyone's already in the trade. Like a team up 4-0, just passing it around and daring you to press.
What a day indeed. Orange fireworks from start to finish. Broby lighting the fuse early and Gakpo slamming the door shut after the break. Cody's got that World Cup scent again, doesn't he? Once he starts rolling, defenders look like they're chasing shadows. Gakpo's just hit the 100th goal of this World Cup. Milestone moment. Give us your market bell take. What does a landmark like that do to momentum, narratives, and maybe even player valuations? IMO, Gakpo's 100th goal of the finals already. Tournaments flying. Give us your market momentum take. Is this Dutch attack a blue chip run or a bubble about to pop?
We've got a tiny bit of supply back on Netherlands 8-1 Hauser, about 31k, so someone's finally taking profit into the certainty. But with 356k still stacked on the bid, this is like the 90th minute. Crowd's already celebrating and the comeback trade is basically...
He's trying to rip the net off when a little curl into the corner would do the job, save the rocket for the highlight reel. But you're right, this game's still got that whiff of more goals in it. The spaces are open. Those changes feel like shutting the stable door after the horse has bolted. Potter's been watching the tide come in and only now grabbing a bucket. Bernhardsson looked like he was running in treacle, and you wonder if earlier tweaks could have slowed this orange wave. Ha! Pretty confident he's wearing orange. That's scouting at its finest, isn't it? But honestly, with the Dutch flying forward like this, you could throw a dart at their front line and still look like a genius. Exactly. He's swinging like it's a driving range when it's a little chip and putt finish. From the first whistle, the Dutch have played like they're late for a flight, sharp, hungry, and snapping passes with real bite.
Absolutely, Leo, that's a headline shock, and you'll see it as a quick spread flip and a burst of market orders as weak hands hit the eject button. But if the book restacks fast, it's not panic. It's a late rally that just reprices the odds in one violent candle. Draw just got a token $500 bid at zero. Someone's basically tossing a coin into the fountain for a miracle. Netherlands is still locked at 1-200, but you can see the endgame. Bids thinning while the 1-200 sell wall stays chunky, classic cash out queue in guard. Now you're seeing the first real crack. Netherlands' best bid slips to 0.99 while the ask stays yard. Liquidity's drying up as everyone crowds the same exit. That's late game time wasting in market form. Price still screams done, but the spread...
Absolutely. When you're a goal down against that kind of backline, it feels like climbing a glass mountain in socks. Van Dijk's barking orders, the rest are snapping into tackles, and the door just keeps slamming shut.
That certainty is wobbling a touch. Netherlands still priced to win, but the bid's stuck at 0.99, while the 1-point sell queue has swollen to 225k, so exits are getting crowded. And draw ticking up to 1% at a penny.
Sweden just got a lifeline. Ilanga off the bench, lightning pace, in on goal, and buries it. Momentum swing moment. Give me a quick market rally analogy for this comeback spark. Ilanga off the bench and bangs in a lightning goal. Instant impact. Give us the market analogy. That's a late super sub rally, right? What does that do to momentum and investor confidence in this match?
Netherlands is still basically priced as a win, but notice the tone shift. The market's now two-sided, AT 0.99, 0.99, with big size on both ends, so conviction's turning into a grind. That's like protecting a one-goal lead while the other...
Absolutely. Once that channel opens, it's like releasing a greyhound at the track. You just slip it into the grass and let him fly. The pass becomes inevitable because the defenders are already panicking, and when he's in full stride, you're basically chasing a shadow. Sweden just got a lifeline. Ilanga's pace flips the momentum in a flash. Give me a quick market style take. How does one moment like that change risk, confidence, and decision-making for the team? Sweden have to smell blood now. Get the next one and...
Yep, that's rotating from growth to quality, less flair, more ball security and tempo control. De Jong's basically the defensive hedge. He lowers variance, slows Sweden's momentum, and makes the last 15 feel...
It's end-to-end chaos now. Sweden throwing bodies forward, and you can feel Koeman's blood pressure rising. That cross had danger written all over it, and Van Hecke does the ugly but beautiful job because Isak was lurking like a shark. Sweden's front five looks loaded. Pace wide, striker presence, creator in the pocket. Give us a quick market style take. When you've got that much attacking liquidity, how does it change the risk for the Dutch backline?
Exactly. When you're up, you don't need hero trades, you need clean execution and fewer unforced errors. The smart play is tighten the midfield, slow the tempo, and pick your counters. Otherwise, you're basically day trading in a storm. Nailed it. When you're 4-0 up, complacency is the classic house money trap. You start taking risks you'd never take at T00. Protecting profits is boring football. Compact lines, kill transitions, and don't gift the market a headline. Draw just ticked up to 2%, and that's the market flinching. Someone saw a wobble and bought a little insurance, but Netherlands is still glued to 0.99, so you're paying full price for a trade with almost no upside, like chasing a 4-0 lead with 5 minutes left.
This match has turned into a high-risk, high-reward frenzy. Sweden chasing 3 and leaving acres behind. Any quick market analogy for a team going all in and exposing themselves to a counterpunch? Alando is on fire. He's got that fullback on toast, and he's whipping in crosses like it's a training drill. Van Heck's reading it well, but Sweden have found a pulse here, and the stadium can smell a twist. IMO, this is turning into a comeback story. Sweden's momentum is surging like a stock breaking out. Give us a quick market analogy. What's the risk for the team 4-0 up if they keep leaving space?
Netherlands is still pinned 8-0-9-9, but look at that bid depth jumping. Buyers are crowding the door like it's a sure thing, and that's when you get the nastiest slip on any surprise headline. Draw and Sweden are pure lottery ticket markets with massive offers. Netherlands is still a 0.99 coin, but the vibe shifted. Bid depth cooled while the sell side thinned a lot, so it's less crowded long and more let it settle. Draw and Sweden remain pure long shots with giant offer walls. If chaos hits, that's where the price gap will be.
Somerville gets it, and you can feel the crowd sit up. He's got that spark that something's about to happen swagger. Sweden finally look like they're trying to cut with a knife instead of a spoon, but the final touch has to bite.
Netherlands stays locked at 0.99, but Sweden bid depth just jumped, still tiny, yet it's the first sign of bargain hunters sniffing a momentum swing. With those massive 0.99 offer walls on Sweden in the draw, any real comeback would rip through like a counterattack.
Lindelöf reads it like a veteran, steps in and snuffs out the danger before it even breathes. Captain's defending that. One slip there and you're staring at a tap-in, but Sweden's leader just slammed the door and kept the key.
Not much movement. This is a market in garbage time. Netherlands glued to 0.99 with steady depth on both sides. The only real tell is Sweden's tiny bid interest holding up. If the game flips emotionally, this book will gap faster than my golf swing under pressure.
Corner swung in with menace, Van Dijk prowling like a skyscraper with boots, but Sweden get the first punch in and hook it clear. That's a big defensive moment because one clean header there and the net's bulging. 27 gone and it already feels like the lid's off. Houston's been a goal factory and this one's got that same electricity in the air. You can sense the next chance is loading like a spring. One mistake and it's fireworks. Imo Leo here. This match feels like it won't stay 4-1. End-to-end chaos and shaky defending. Give us your market volatility take. Who's the blue chip here and who's about to crash? Imo, you mentioned patience. This game's like a volatile stock. One rush touch and it crashes into a counter. Give us your take on managing risk when the tempo's this frantic. Gyökeres squaring up. You can feel the crowd inhale. He wants to cut inside and light the fuse. Van Hengel stands him up brilliantly, shepherds him away from the danger lane, and that's a defender's little victory right there.
We're back to risk on Netherlands with bid depth rebounding, while the draw's big offer stack cooled off from that spike. Less panic hedging, more confidence. Still, at 0.99, this is a heavy favorite trading like a striker on a...
That's old school defending from Lagerbielke. Firm, fair, and it sends a message straight through Gakpo's boots. Bit of ball, bit of body, and suddenly this game's got that edge where every duel... Sweden are starting to sniff it now. Bergvall to Isak back again, and you can feel the crowd leaning forward. But that delivery, it dies in the air like a balloon with a pin in it, and the chance fizzles out.
Not a dead rubber, Leo. This is a 0.99 priced favorite, and that's when markets get jumpy because there's no room for mistakes. The draw and Sweden books are thin on the bid side, so one quick goal creates a gap move like a breakaway counter.
They can't afford to sit back now. Langer's run was begging for the pass, and you could feel the frustration when it never came. Lindelöf tries to steady the ship, but Vavasor's waving for it like a man ordering a taxi in the rain. Isak's touch there is pure velvet under pressure. He turns a scrap into a spark in one movement. Van Hecke sticks a boot in at the perfect moment, though, and just as Langer tries to burst away, he's robbed. Momentum swinging like a pendulum.
Now that's a momentum swing in the tape. Netherlands bid depth ripped back up to 386K, so the dip buyers just came flying in like a team smelling a fifth goal. But with price pinned at 0.9, it's still all about execution risk.
Summerhill's got acres of grass and he's treating it like a dance floor. Little touches, head up, teasing the defender. You love players like that, don't you? Makes the game feel alive, like something could explode any second. Absolutely, those Dutch moves were carved open like a surgeon's cut, and then Gakpo just sprinkled stardust on top. And Langer's finish, wow, when teams attack with runners flooding the box, goals start raining like it's monsoon season. You're spot on. Timing those runs is everything. Arrive a heartbeat late and you're a hero, a heartbeat early and you're offside and apologizing. And the crossing's been delicious all tournament. The brave teams are the ones putting defenders on the back foot and asking real questions. It's been a goal fest, hasn't it? Like the nets are magnetized this tournament. And now Robbie's sniffing around again, prowling for that next bite. One good ball and this place could erupt all over again. Yeah, the window slams shut there, angle's all wrong, and then the flag goes up just as he tries to nick in front of the big Dutch 9. And you're right, it's less tiki-taka, more direct punches now. Get it wide, hit the box, chaos. Exactly. Slow possession is like sending the defense an invitation to set the table and lock the doors. Go vertical, and suddenly there's panic everywhere. And look at Broby and Gakpo. They're not just in the conversation for the golden boot. They're
Market's basically calling full-time, win prob prince 100%, but the price won't quite kiss Weinard because nobody wants to be the guy who celebrates early. Bid depth keeps bleeding, so it's a crowded exit, calm on the surface, slippery if anything weird happens.
Oh, Elonga just sent him for a hot dog there. Absolutely vanished him with that change of pace. Whips it in. Van Hecke stands tall and heads it away, but that was electric. Elonga's got the crowd on a string right now. He's toying with him now. Elanga's got that swagger where every touch feels like a prank on the fullback. Mandard's head's spinning, and the crowd can smell something big brewing every time he squares up. Oh, that back heel is pure street football. Cheeky, crisp, and it opens the lane like a can opener. If they win this, that clip's going straight into the highlight reel with a big red circle around Elanga's name. Isak's touch had a little bit of velvet on it, trying to thread the needle, but Sweden are scrapping like it's the last ball on earth. You can feel that refusal to fold. This is grit, this is pride, this is a team hanging in.
Now that's a shift. Netherlands' liquidity just bulked up on both sides, so the market's more comfortable sitting at 0.99 without flinching. But with draw and Sweden showing these massive 0.99 ass cliffs, it's still a one-way crowd.
Poof! That ball flashes across the face of goal, and for a split second you can hear hearts stop. One touch and it's chaos. The runners just checked at the crucial moment, and Sweden will be kicking themselves as we head to the break. IMO, we've got a goal fest vibe. 2 for Broby, 2 for Gakpo, celebrations everywhere. Give me the market analogy. Is this a bull run or a bubble about to pop? Menace Mobile. Sounds like a team bus with tinted windows and a press that never stops. If Koeman's celebrations are anything to go by, the Dutch are already running that operation at full power today.
Netherlands is still glued to 0.99, but the story is that the upset books are getting even more lopsided. Huge ask depth sitting up at 0.99, like a wall of cheap hedges. That's classic late game behavior. Everyone's winning, but they're...
Verizon ad says they've scrapped activation and upgrade fees. Real margin hit or customer growth catalyst?
Yeah, it's more than a shiny ad if it actually reduces churn. Telecom is a grind league, and keeping subscribers is the real trophy. But if rivals match it, it turns into a margin slugfest, and investors will fade the simplicity story fast.
One plan, one price. Now that's a clean 4-3-3. None of this false 9 fine print. If phone companies played football, that's the kind of direct, no-nonsense move that wins the crowd back in one touch. IMO, Verizon dropping activation upgrade fees and pushing a one-price simplicity plan. Is this a real margin hit or a smart customer grab? Give us the market angle. Not here for a holiday. Love that. That's pure tunnel walk energy. Sounds like a squad that's come to press high, win it early, and leave the beach towels at home.
This market's basically calling full-time. Netherlands pinned 80.99, 100 with balanced depth, so there's no juice left unless you're scalping pennies. The real tell is Sweden, and the draw still wearing those massive 0.99 ask insurance walls.
Bright side ringing out and the Swedes still smiling. What a fan base, taking a punch and singing back. But the stadium knows it. This one's slipping away and the Dutch are dancing like they've got the volume knob.
Netherlands is still a 0.99 100 coin flip for pennies. Depth's thick, but it's all late game time.
Depay steps in with that swagger. Record man, and you can feel the crowd lean forward. Broby's got that "are you serious" stare. He wanted the whole show, the hat trick and the headlines, and now Depay's sniffing around like a shark in warm water. 5 already. He'll fancy another one before the night's out. These arenas have been absolutely rocking. Color everywhere, noise bouncing off the roof like a drum, and that's the magic of international football. Different styles colliding, pride on every sprint, and suddenly you're watching something you just don't get week to week. IMO, this World Cup vibe is like a bull market. Fans smiling, no hostility, stars delivering like blue chip earnings. Give us your quick take. What's the Messi and Mbappe of the stock world right now?
Netherlands just slipped from certain to almost certain, and you can see it in the tape. Bid depth is thinning fast, like a team protecting a lead but starting to look tired. Still, with the price glued at 0.99, it's a...
What a night for the goal-getters. Broby and Gakpo trading punches like heavyweight strikers, and then Elanga jumps off the bench and lands a beauty. Sweden have been dragged into a shootout here, and the Dutch smell blood.
Netherlands' bid depth is melting from 305k to 205k. People are basically cashing out the win before the final whistle because there's no juice left 0.99. Meanwhile, those massive 0.99 asks on Sweden and the draw are still just insurance markets, not convincing.
Depay's first involvement is silk, and Gakpo's just gliding through it all. Every touch has purpose, every run has menace. Lindelof had to throw himself in there like a man blocking a cannonball because this Dutch attack is relentless. Aimo, Liverpool lads looking sharp here. Gakpo, Gravenberch, Van Dijk after a rough season. Is this like a stock bouncing off bad earnings or just international football giving them fresh legs?
Now it's basically pinned €8.99 on both sides. Netherlands is trading like a bond at maturity, tiny upside, all headline risk. The big tell is bid depth keeps draining, so anyone late to the party is paying full price for almost no reward.
Gakpo just brushes him and suddenly Sweden are sniffing a set piece. This is where a quiet game can turn loud in a heartbeat. You can feel the Dutch backline tightening up because one good delivery here and it's panic stations. Ilanga's hugging that touchline like it owes him money. He's setting the trap for that late dart into the danger zone. Sweden are trying to pull the Dutch shape apart, and one clever run could open the door. Dumfries climbs and clears, no nonsense. He's treating that delivery like a bad investment and cashing it out immediately. That awkward free kick spot never quite becomes a chance, and Sweden's long throw just floats harmlessly as the Dutch reset. Oof, that outside of the boot pass is pure velvet from Sweden. Opens the angle in a flash, but then bang, the whistle kills the rhythm and you can see the players' faces. What did we do? Gravenberch spreads it wide to Somerville and suddenly there's grass to attack, then crunch, and the refs reaching straight for the pocket. Ayari's gone and hot-headed there, totally needless, and it hands the Dutch a tasty set-piece moment.
Totally. Those stoppages are like micro pullbacks that shake out the late chasers, then the trend reasserts if the favorite's still in control. A set piece is basically a scheduled volatility event. One clean delivery and the whole price chart gap.
Netherlands sitting pretty on 4 points with that healthy goal difference, but Sweden are right on their heels after that statement win. This group's got teeth, and Parasak looks electric out there like he's got fresh legs and a point to prove. Memphis tries to wriggle free, but it's crowded and the move just runs out of oxygen. Then Van Dijk steps in like a bouncer at the door. Yogoras can't shake him, and that little inside pass is read a mile off.
Not much changing. Netherlands stays glued to 0.991 Haldro, but the bid depth is easing a touch, which is that protect the lead, don't overcommit posture. Draw bids are basically non-existent again, so the market's still pricing a clean closeout with almost no appetite.
Ayari's just picked up a needless card trying to stop a lightning break. Momentum swing moment. Quick take. In markets, how costly are these panic fouls when you're under pressure, like a bad hedge at the worst time? Nice little plug there. Ecuador versus Curacao could be a feisty one. Plenty of pace and pride on show. But back here, you can feel the tempo rising. One burst of speed and suddenly defenders are making desperate decisions. Aimo, quick one. Tonali to City chatter is flying around. What's the market say on a move like that? And does it feel like real momentum or just headline heat? Aimo, Spurs sniffing around Tonali with City lurking too. Give us the market angle, fee, wages, and who's got the leverage in that bidding war. Tottenham shopping with the big boys, Tonali links flying around like transfer ticker confetti, and City sniffing too, of course they are. Van der Ven looks like he's already picturing the new partner beside him because Spurs needed fresh steel after those brutal seasons. Gakpo's got his head up and Van der Ven just keeps eating up grass. What a locomotive. Spurs have bodies swarming that channel, 3 shirts collapsing like a net, and you can feel the next pass could crack this open.
Interesting little glitch. Draw ticks up to 1% while Netherlands stays welded to 1 point variant. Classic scoreboard says done, but the exchange is still settling. Sweden has literally no bid, so if you're trying to exit anything there, it's like looking for a buyer in stoppage time.
He's everywhere, isn't he? Like he's got a remote control for the ball and a license to shoot. So many looks already, and every time he winds up, you can hear the crowd hold its breath. One clean connection and the net might not survive. Yeah, those long-range efforts are in their DNA today. Confidence is a dangerous thing when it starts from 25 yards, and Memphis hitting cap 111, that's a proper landmark. You can feel the teammates looking for him like he's the headline act.
Netherlands is still locked at Nara, but notice the bid depth just dropped hard. That's late buyer stepping away because there's no upside left. Sweden remains a ghost town with 0 bid, so anyone trying to trade the comeback is basically shooting from midfield. Now the Netherlands bid depth snaps back up, someone stepping in to support the price even though it's already maxed out, which tells you this is more about settlement and positioning than conviction. Draw and Sweden are still pure deadweight, like a team parking the bus after
Sweden nearly wriggled in there. Great ball to the byline, but the Dutch defenders stood tall and slammed the door. Van der Ven's pass was a little wobbly, and you could feel danger sniffing around, but the whistle bails them out. Van Hecke was immense there. Last ditch, no nonsense. Michael Oliver had the perfect angle. He sees Elanga's run like it's drawn on a tactics board, and bang, it's lethal. Potter maybe waited a beat too long because when Elanga gets grass to eat, defenders panic. Fresh legs coming on now, and this could get frantic.
We're seeing the endgame churn now. Netherlands' depth oscillates, but price can't move because it's already at the ceiling. Meanwhile, the draw book is just a mountain of offers, 8 to 0.99 with no real bids. Like fans leaving early, there's plenty of sellers, and
Gravenberg slides it out, and Somerville's got his head up. Goodmanson chasing like a debt collector. You can feel that old FA Cup rivalry sparking again, and Somerville's teasing the fullback here. Something's brewing down that flank. Elanga's goal looks even sweeter on the replay. Give me a quick market-style take. Momentum swing, blue-chip finish, and what it does to the Dutch portfolio at 4-2. Ayari's off, and that's a real nod to the home league. One of the rare lads still plying his trade back in Sweden. Sometimes that brings a different edge, a bit more hunger, a bit less polish, but plenty of bite. Let's see how this change shifts the rhythm.
Netherlands is still pinned at 100, but the order book's getting heavier on the sell side. More folks lining up to cash the trophy than to buy it. That's classic full-time whistle behavior. Everyone knows the result. They're just fighting over the last bit of liquidity.
Malma pedigree, and Ali's already tasted that Europa League heat. He won't be starstruck for a second. Those nights against English sides teach you to play fast or get punished. He's about to be in the thick of it here. Possible handball missed by officials, controversial moment. Any quick take on VAR, market reaction, momentum swings when refs miss big calls?
Yeah, missed calls are like surprise macro headlines. VAR is the circuit breaker that that booking is like a sudden downgrade. Nothing breaks immediately, but everyone reprices the risk of the next tackle. You'll see players pull out of 50-50s, and the other side presses like traitors smelling a forced unwind.
Ali finally gets a touch, and you can feel the intent straight at his man, looking to slip that killer ball in behind. Van der Ven sniffs it out like a bloodhound and slams the door, but the run was electric and the idea was spot on. That chance was right there. Olanga's run had danger written all over it, but the defender times it perfectly and kills the move stone dead. And don't go anywhere later, Tunisia versus Japan is a tasty one. Group H has got fireworks in it. We've got a bit of controversy brewing. Late challenge, yellow card out, tempers rising. Any quick market-style take on how a booking shifts momentum and risk for the rest of this match?
Not much new on price. Netherlands stays pinned at 100, but the bid depth keeps bleeding, which tells you the easy money crowd already cashed out. Meanwhile, Sweden and the draw are still a graveyard of 0.99, offers with 0 bids.
Bergball booked. Momentum swing. Can you riff on pointless chase like a trader not chasing a runaway stock and whether pace beats positioning here? They're comparing Langer's pace to Van der Ven like a sprint duel. Ben Johnson versus Carl Lewis vibes. Got a quick market analogy for two speedsters, early burst versus late catch-up?
Love that. One guy's the gap up at the open, the other's the steady trend that reels you in by the close. Markets reward the sprinter early, but the closer wins when liquidity dries up and positioning matters more than raw speed.
Clattenburg would be posing like it's a red carpet premiere, no doubt. He'd want the lens on him even for a throw-in. But you're right, those ref cams are gold when the temperature rises. You feel the pressure in real time. Absolutely, Clattenburg would be checking his hair in the fourth official's board if he could, but those cameras catch the real drama, the little chats, the simmering tempers, the one more and you're gone look. Oliver's been steady. You can feel he's trying to keep the lid on it without making it all about him. Good tournament management. And that little Gatto touch, even offside, that's the kind of quality that makes defenders sweat for the next phase.
This is basically stasis. Netherlands still locked at Wijnsoord with bids and asks nearly balanced, so nobody's paying up for extra certainty. The only real action is on the dead outcomes. Draw and Sweden are just stacked with sellers, like a team time with...
IMO, 4-1 Netherlands. Clinical double from Gakpo. Early brace set the tone. Any market-style take on momentum swings and how Sweden's brief Elanga spark got priced out fast? IMO, that offside calls a photo finish. VAR margins like a stock tick. Give us your take on how those tiny lines can swing momentum like a market move.
Exactly. VAR is the market's tape. One tick either way flips the headline and forces instant repricing. You can feel the crowd go risk on or risk off in a heartbeat, like a stop-loss cascade turning a calm chart into chaos.
Elanga's got the afterburners on again. He's turning it into a track meet down that flank. But that delivery, you can't waste that kind of separation. It's got to be whipped with venom, not floated like a postcard. Yeah, it's that split second of composure. Beat your man, then pick your moment because the box isn't ready yet, and Anderven can't be giving him that yard. At this level, a yard becomes a chance, and a chance becomes a headline. Sweden are getting carved open out wide, too passive, too polite, and the Dutch are saying thank you very much every time that ball comes in. You can't defend a box if you don't defend the wings first. It's like locking the front door and leaving the windows wide open. Netherlands look like they've bounced back hard. Real statement performance after that Japan wobble. Any market reaction analogy here? Momentum swing, confidence returning, investors piling back in? Netherlands look like they're making a statement after that Japan wobble. Real bounce back performance. Any market style take on teams reacting after a bad result, like a stock rebounding on strong fundamentals? That's the Netherlands with the gloves off. Sharp, ruthless, and suddenly every attack feels like it's got teeth. When you're that clinical, you don't need many invitations, and football's brutal like that. Blink once and you're chasing shadows.
This is basically game over on the tape. Netherlands has no offers left, and a monster 1.3M bid stack sitting at 100, like the crowd already stormed the pitch. Draw and Sweden are just dead money with big ask walls, so any upset would be the kind of black...
Isak pulls the trigger, bang! But Bruggen stands tall and swats it away like a bouncer at closing time. 6 minutes left, and that save feels like a door slamming shut on Sweden's last real hope.
Netherlands is still pinned 8-100 with 0 offers. This is a one-way book, like a team up 3-0 just passing it around and killing the clock. The only tell is that draw bid depth keeps evaporating, so even the miracle crowd is heading for the exits.
Isak's been a live wire tonight, but Bruggen's read that like tomorrow's headlines, ice in the veins. Now a corner for Sweden. This is the kind of moment where one perfect delivery can turn panic into poetry. Sweden are hunting that goal like it's goal dust, because in these groups, goal difference can be the silent assassin. But Denzel gets there first and flicks it away, and you can feel the Dutch breathing easier for a heartbeat.
Now it's even more extreme. Draw has literally no bids, Sweden has no bids, and Netherlands is the only side with real money posted. Pure consensus trade. When a book looks this one-sided, the risk isn't down a little, it's the rare red card moment that flips everything. Even with that late injury scare, the market's still pricing Netherlands like a locked-in win, bid glued to 100, and no one brave enough to show offers. But you can see the risk premium in the sidelines. Draw and Sweden are just stacked with asks, no bid.
IMO, quick one. These flashy new boots everyone's wearing, are brands cashing in big this tournament? Feels like a walking billboard out there. What's the market angle? You're not going mad, mate. Under these floodlights, orange can look like it's flirting with pink. It's a full-on optical illusion. And honestly, those boots are like a stock ticker in a quiet market. Impossible to ignore once you've spotted them. Ha! Don't worry, I'm still backing your eyesight. These screens can turn tangerine into bubblegum in a heartbeat. If the boots are confusing us this much, imagine the defenders trying to pick up a run at full tilt. We've been spoiled rotten, haven't we? Another one that's just flown by. Even at 4-1, Sweden have flashed real quality little bursts of football that make you sit up and grin. That's tournament football. It never lets you breathe. IMO, we're talking about those boots looking orange-pink on monitors. Give us your market screens lie take and maybe a quick analogy to price action illusions.
Totally. Screens can trick you the way a thin order book does. It looks like a breakout until you realize it's just one big print and no follow-through. Same here, the color pops, but the fundamentals on the pitch haven't changed.
Sweden's got 14 shots. Even in a 4-1, numbers don't always match the scoreline. Give us a quick market stats versus price action analogy here.
Order book's basically frozen. Netherlands is locked at 100 with a massive bid stack and no sellers, while Draw and Sweden are just dead money with only asks sitting there. Totally. Bench Spark is the earnings pop. You buy him as a regular when the follow-through holds after the first burst, not just one highlight candle. If the team structure improves with him on, that's sustainable demand, not a one-off squeeze. Nailed it. This is a quality compounder. Fewer swings, more hits, and every touch in the box turns into cash flow. Sweden's trading like a meme name. Tons of activity, but no earnings, so the price never gets respect. You're seeing the post goal, mark it up and move on tape. Netherlands is still pinned at $1 with a wall of bids, and the other two outcomes are basically landfill offers with no buyers. The only action now is position management. Some longs trimming at the
Langer's impact off the bench is like a hot stock on earnings day. Instant lift, but you wonder if he can sustain it as a starter. Give us the market analogy. When do you buy the sub and make him a regular?
Nothing's changed. Netherlands is still a full limit bid at $1 with 0 offers, which is the market's version of everyone already walking to the exits. Draw and Sweden are pure one-sided supply, like trying to sell umbrellas in a drought.
Ali's done the hard bit, burned to the byline, and then the cross is a balloon on a windy day, nowhere near.
Yeah, that's pure capitulation. Sweden's side is a no-bid tape, everyone rushing the exits at any price. Netherlands is the runaway leader with buyers camping at 100 like fans already celebrating in stoppage time. Momentum's done, it's just settlement now.
That's pure silk until the last touch. One little cutback, and it's chaos in the 6-yard box. Koeman will love the intent, even if he's wearing that classic I'm not impressed mask. Gakpo's giving him plenty to chew on here. Bodies everywhere, and it's like a rush hour train in that box. Headers flying, ricochets, nobody really taking charge. If you don't put a hand on him and slow him down, he'll just keep ghosting into space and punishing you. It's absolute pinball in there. So many shirts you'd think someone would win it cleanly, but it's all half clearances and panic. And if you're not trying to stop him, well, he'll take that invitation and stroll into another chance. Dutch are 5 up in Houston, total rout. Give us a market style take. Momentum, capitulation, and what Sweden's sell-off looks like from your lens.
We're seeing the loser's book get heavier. Draw and Sweden offers ballooning at 0, which is classic forced liquidation with nobody stepping in. Meanwhile, Netherlands' bid depth keeps creeping up 8-100, like the crowd still buying scarves after the
5 goal, 5 minutes added, and the Dutch are still playing like they've got a 6th in their pocket. Sweden look absolutely punch drunk out there. This has been wave after wave, ruthless and slick, like a highlight reel on repeat. Imo, that's the kind of...
Absolutely. This is a full-on momentum squeeze, like a breakout name gapping up and never looking back. Every Somerville touch is another buy stop getting triggered, and Sweden's defense is basically the liquidity provider getting run over.
Imo, Netherlands are 5 up, and Koeman finally cracks a smile. Somerville scoring again like a blue chip stock compounding. Give us your market metaphor. Is this a bull run or a bubble for Sweden's defense? Imo, Netherlands are absolutely cooking. 5 goals, ruthless efficiency. Give me a quick market style take. When a team's this clinical, is it like a stock in full momentum with no resistance?
This book is basically game over priced in. Netherlands locked at 1 with 0 offers, while Draw and Sweden are a graveyard 8-0 with huge ask piles. The only action left is position management. People trimming winners and
Netherlands piling on 5. I joked, it's like compounding returns. Can you riff on Sweden's boom-bust swing? 5 scored, then 5 conceded like a volatile stock.
Nothing's changed in pricing. Netherlands is still a hard one-hull with a massive bid wall, and the other two outcomes are pinned to 0 with sellers stacked like abandoned seats after a blowout. The only trade now is cleanup, closing longs, harvesting pennies, and
Yeah, that opening spell was like turning up to a knife fight with a spoon, outnumbered everywhere and chasing shadows. But the tweak at the break gave them width and a bit of bite, and suddenly they looked like a proper football team again, just too late. It's been pure Dutch joy, hasn't it? Swagger, speed, and that old school flair, like they've rolled the classics back out of the museum and put them on turbo, and now Gyökeres squaring up. You can feel the crowd lean in, waiting for one more spark. Van Hecke stands him up brilliantly. No panic, just steel, and the danger fizzles out. And 5 again for the Netherlands. That's a statement scoreline, the kind that echoes back to those famous nights when orange shirts just light up the world stage. It's deja vu, all right. Same ruthless rhythm, same orange wave rolling in again like it never left. And that little angle, that's where the Dutch love to hurt you. That's the full package, isn't it? Graven birch with the engine and the elegance, like a skyscraper doing ballet. And here comes Shroud off the bench, fresh legs and a point to prove. This is where games can flip in a heartbeat.
Now you're seeing the trash time liquidity rotate. Draw asks come off a bit. Sweden ticks up slightly, but it's all cosmetic with both still stuck at zero. Netherlands remains a clean one tas with no sellers, so the market's just passing the ball around until settlement.
Gravenberch looks like he's got the keys to the whole stadium. Calm, classy, and always one step ahead in that midfield traffic. 2 games, 2 big statements, and even if the trophy doesn't land in his hands, everyone watching knows who's been pulling the strings. Yeah, he might not get the shiny award today, but he's been the metronome, keeping the Dutch ticking, snapping into tackles, then gliding out like it's nothing. And you're spot on, Clancy. Talent like that doesn't whisper, it announces itself.